Hello and welcome. Here is another video about SMMware, software for running the day-to-day operations of senior move management companies. This video provides a brief introduction to sales estimates within SMMware. In addition to allowing you to generate quotes to send to your clients, SMMware provides places for the other relevant information you typically collect. For a general overview of SMMware, please see our introductory video at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SMMware, or just search your YouTube app for SMMware. Okay, let's begin. Below is a diagram of the various functionality within SMMware. Today we will be looking at the core features, touching on clients and jobs, but focusing on estimates. We'll start here in the estimation section. We will already have a client profile in place, whether it's a new or returning client, an area where you can store the client's name and phone number and so on. Here within the estimate, you'll notice that this looks a lot like a job. It collects the same information because once you win the work, the sales estimate becomes the job, and a lot of the information is carried over. Information from any one of these custom fields. A way to track the status, whether the sales estimate is in progress, submitted, won, or declined. We also offer a file manager where you can store images from the client's home, which is also often collected during the sales phase. Now let's take a look at the actual sales quote itself. I'll point out that you can view this as a PDF, and you can also email this quote to the client as a PDF attachment. You can see the PDF. The approach within SMMware for sales estimates consists of providing you with various blocks. You can mix and match the blocks, reorder them, delete them, and use them as you see fit to create the estimate that you want. The examples of blocks would be client blocks, which come already filled out with the client's information. You have a project manager or team lead block. There's something called a header, which has the larger font size and is used to segment the overall quote into high-level chunks. We have a lower-level grouping, which we simply call the group block, which then has line items within it, as well as a summary. This is a general-purpose text block. For any language that you would care to put in there. This is a summary block, which provides the subtotals and the grand total. And lastly, we have the legal block. You can use the arrows to reorder them. You can delete them. You can insert the various kinds. And we would encourage you to focus on the structure of the blocks as opposed to the labels that we're using for this particular example. They can be modified at will. If you're offering your clients a price range, having spoken with various senior move managers, the suggestion was to offer some language within the legal block, such as that the final total may vary by plus or minus 5%, something like that. We can move over to the template section briefly to look at some different ways that it can be used. These are this is the simplest approach, where you simply have line items. There's no attempt to group them. And then finally you have the subtotal, or the grand total. Next level up in sophistication is the two-level estimate. We're now using the group block, which then can have its own line items and its own summary, subtotal within that group. That's what makes that different, is the use of the group blocks. And then finally, we can have groups within groups. We're using the header block to segment the quote into the highest level groupings, and then within that we have our sub-level groupings. So in this case we went with the example of pre-move, and then what's happening in these two rooms, so on and so forth. The approach to the line items within SMMware matches how you charge your clients in the end. So we have the per job rate and the per job code approaches. The per job rate is where you charge the same hourly rate across the entire project. And the per job code approach is where you can charge different rates depending on the type of work being done or who's doing it. Any aspect within this quote can be modified unless it has a gray background. So these various descriptions are all modifiable. You can use these various blocks however you like in the end. And the real-world workflow consists usually of copying an existing estimate and then modifying it. It would be pretty rare to start with a blank slate, start from scratch. SMMware supports this idea in a couple of ways. Going back to one of our estimates, you can see where we talk about versions. So here's where you can create a new version. Here's some of the versions that have already been created for this particular sales effort. It's common for the client to come back to you after having received a quote and maybe making some changes, at which point in time you want to create a new version for them. Rather than forcing you to overwrite the existing version, we accommodate you creating multiple versions. You just click on copy and then save to get, say, version 6. And we also provide you with this area. It's not one of our blocks that you can mix and match down below. This is in fact a note where you can tell yourself that, okay, version 6 is like version 5, except we've added some additional sorting and organizing work, something like that. So the idea of versions helps you within a given quote for one client. When you go to create the quote for the next client, you might go back to one of your previous clients and copy that template, but then you have to remember which client had the best item for a starting point. And rather than making you do that, you get to save your favorite versions as a template. When you have worked up something that you're happy with and want to save it, just click on Save as Template. And the next time you go to create a version, you can simply select that from the list, and it will pre-fill out everything for you. From there you can simply save it and modify as needed. The list of templates is found here under Estimates Templates. There's the one we just created. So between the versions and the templates, we think that SMMware is a good match for the real-world workflow that you follow, that most people follow, providing flexibility and convenience. And this sums up our tour of estimates within SMMware. To find out more, visit our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SMMware for more videos about specific features of SMMware. You can also visit our website at www.smware.com. You can call us at 240-285-4619 with questions or to arrange a demo. To be notified of new videos as they are added, subscribe to our YouTube channel. SMMware is an industry partner with NASM, the National Association of Senior Move Managers. We appreciate your time and hope to talk to you soon. Thank you.